What's going on, guys? This is Nate from the Scrub Academy welcoming you to our next deck profile here on the channel. Today, straight from the feature match is Luna with Monarch. So let's go ahead and jump right on into it.
Well, the deck is very simple because it's from 2016. It starts with big guys. We'll start with the two good ones that everybody knows, Erebus, Aether. They both could be tribute summoned by tributing something that was tribute summoned already. And they both have a similar effect on summon. They both dump two different Monarch spell traps from deck and then do something good. So Erebus says dump two and then shuffle any card of your opponent's hand, field, or grave back into the deck. And Aether says summon another Monarch stat line from your deck and then it bounces back during the end phase. They both have a third effect. Erebus's one is like it can bring stuff back by ditching the spell traps. Doesn't come up very much. And Aether says which is actually a good effect, is you can banish a spell one of the Monarch spell traps from grave on your opponent's main phase to tribute summoner, which is really good. Three are both of them because they're both the best ones because they do something really good on summon and also dump two good cards into the grave. You know, this is like the original power creep. You get a huge guy plus another effect and you put cards in the grave that plus you.
Now, Erebus also allows you to not just add itself back, but you can discard that to add any of
True. It does technically add any 24 or more back, which doesn't come up very much, but it is useful when it does come up.
Depending on what you need, it could come in handy.
Yeah, three of both of those, and then the reason I wanted to play this deck. Two with a new guy, Thestalos plus Caius mashed together into some horrid abomination. It's a 3,010, which matters because a lot of the cards say 24 or 28 and 10. But it is still okay because Aether summons 24 or higher, so you can tutor this with Aether and then bounce it back at the end phase to get it on the next turn.
I don't think a lot of people realize that with Aether. As long as it has the 1,000 defense,
yeah.
As long as it has 2,400 or more attack,
yeah.
Specialist.
So this is usually the turn one to play if you can, is summon Thestalos with Aether, so you can set up summoning it on their turn because it's just a big blob of really good effects. When you tribute summon it, you can tribute your tribute summon monster and their monster as its condition, kind of like a kaiju. So you can think of it as a built-in Stormforth, but it's even better because it's a summoning condition. So it gets around towers and all that funny stuff. You know, your pearly, your big, huge, fat pearlies that are untouchable. And then when you summon it, you banish a random card from your opponent's hand and burn them. And then, if you attributed a tribute summon monster to summon it, which if you're doing it the right way, you will. You also get to banish a card on the field and burn them if it's a fire or dark. So by summoning this on your opponent's turn, which is what you really want to do if you can, you get to get rid of their monster and then a card from their hand and then another card. So your one summon gets rid of 3 cards of theirs, which is decent. It's a lot better than like Aether Stormforth it was back in the day. So, but only 2 because you don't really want to draw it very much because this is a card you do when you're already doing stuff.
It's very nice being able to kaiju your opponent's stuff, but then you get the monster.
Yeah, it's awesome. This is the reason I want to play the deck again, because it's 2 of my favorite Monarchs smashed together into an unholy abomination. And then we have a whole bunch of other stuff. We'll start with the other small Monarchs. So there's 3 like single tribute ones, 2 Vanity's Fiend because it's Vanity's Fiend. I don't think I need to explain that much. It does suck that it's not searchable because it's 12, but it's Vanity's Fiend. Sometimes you just win the game. And then 2 searchable guys. This one's really weird. It basically is a mind control on either main phase by taking something that's equal or smaller, which you just do this to summon off of Aether. Not a very good card otherwise, but it's better than Kuraz, because letting your opponent draw 2 cards sucks. And then Majesty's Fiend, which is also not good, technically speaking, because your deck relies very heavily on monster effects, but it's a searchable one because it's 24/10, and in some matchups, if you get 2 tribute summons, you can use return to search this and then summon it, and if your opponent's playing like Sword Soul, they just lose because their entire deck is monster effects. So just the one of, certainly drew both of these way more than I'd like to today. I don't think I drew Vanity's Fiend a single time, so you know, that's how it is. And then we have a whole bunch of things that are free tributes. So this card, shoutouts to this guy right here, the Scrub Academy, for lending me these 2 cards. It's a big guide that you can special for free, which means not only do you get a free tribute body, but also this can randomly be tribute summoned. You know, say you just summon a guy, summon 2 things on the field and just tribute summon this and trigger like return and have domain lock. Domain plus a tribute summon Kashtira Fenrir probably wins most matches, let's be real. Only 2 because I don't want to draw the 3rd. Other really good tributes would be Omelette du Fromage. Basically, you play it in the scale and pop it.
Can you spell it without looking at the card?
Nope, never. And then you can summon it back out as a free tribute fodders if you have no extra deck. So a draw 1 and a free summon on an extra deck on a body is pretty good. The only downside is it summons itself from the extra deck, so you can't, for example, use Stormforth the same turn you summon him. So
just make sure that you're planning that out a little bit.
Yeah, basically, if you're going second, you're gonna go for Stormforth and not use the effect, and then if you know you're gonna go second, you side this out because you don't want it to conflict with your Stormforths. And then I think the MVP of the tributes is Mithra, because unlike all the other potential tribute fodder you could play, like ID Eidos, which gives you two tributable materials and recursion, those all lose to like Ash. This activates in hand, so it's not stopped by most things, and then you get a guy that gives you an extra tribute summon when you get rid of it, and you give your opponent a token, which is kind of good against some decks. At least it'll stop them. Like a lot of decks that need their field to be empty, like Cash, will have to like crash it into your guy first, and then they lose their battle phase. Though it does suck against Sprite, because it is a level 2 that you give them, but oh well. Mostly it's a free tribute that gives you an extra tribute summon when you tribute it, which is really good because then you can tribute summon twice, and you know, that's pretty cool.
It is good to give your opponent that token though, even though it is level 2, because it shuts off your opponent's imperms from hand if you're going first.
Yeah.
Shuts off their evenlies, like they can't activate it from hand. They'd have to like
crash first
and then do it. But if you see them switch to attack position, you kind of now know that they're doing it.
Exactly. It's really good. I think it's definitely worth it, mostly just because it gives you 2 tribute summons, and 2 tribute summons is really important in this deck since you don't have like Brilliant Fusion and stuff like the good old days. And then one of this weird guy, because I had an extra slot. I'm gonna take this out. I don't think I drew it today, but basically it says if you have no special summon guys, you can special it, and when it's summoned, you can immediately tribute summon. But the downside is you can't special after you summon them out, meaning usually the second summon you want to do is very often Aether, and Aether wants you to summon another from deck. So this is a Namba with that. I'm not going to play this in the future. It really would only be useful if you play like 3 Vanity's Fiend and multiple Majesties, because then you could just summon this and then summon a Majesty's Fiend, but I don't like that. I'm probably going to cut this for something that I'll talk about later. That's all the monsters. Spell traps are very simple. The draw 2 plus search, because that was a thing that they made for some reason. The thing that searches everything else, because it searches everything else. The thing that lets you lock your opponent's entire extra deck and also make things level 6. The one that lets you search for guys when you tribute summon. This is the reason why you play the 1 Majesty's Fiend, because if you tribute summon, you can use this to search Majesty's Fiend. 2 Stormforth, because realistically, for going second, you're probably pretty screwed anyway, so you only really want it as like a search target for tenacity if you go second, because you don't want to use it going first because it doesn't do anything going first, and it conflicts with Omelette de Fromage. Especially since, and the only reason I used to play 3 back in the day was because you would set up Aether Stormforth, but that isn't really good because the card you summon off of Aether sucks. It's actually better with the new guy to use Aether to summon Thestalos, bounce it back at the end phase, and set up Escalation, because Escalation plus Aether gets rid of way more cards more consistently than Stormforce plus Aether. So, although the third is in the side, just because if you do go second, it is Stormforth. Stormforth is pretty good.
Did you ever find the 3 domain cloggy?
The 3 domain? Nah, you need to draw it like basically every game. And if anything, you have extras, just touch to Pantheism, because if you don't have Pantheism in hand, you're probably losing anyways. 1 Foolish Barrel Goods, just because I was trying to find other cards to put in. This guy suggested it. I think I did it for Pantheism once. It was okay. I don't know. I probably will keep playing it, but it's certainly, I wish, if I find something better than this, I might play it. Upstart, because I couldn't find other cards to play. 2 is a thing that recycles and summons still back. Obviously, it's quite good to dump this off of Monarch and then have it on your opponent's turn, but honestly, the summon back effect to get a tribute fodder doesn't actually matter that much anymore because of how the play patterns work. I probably will put it back to 1. The main reason I put 2 in is just because I like drawing it with Pantheism, and because the on-field effect to recycle actually matters a ton in grind games, but I'll probably still put it back to 1. Just, I don't know, I feel like if I put it at 2, it's too many, but if I put it at 1, I want the second copy. It is what it is. And then 1 of the card that says tribute summon on your opponent's turn, which is really good for grind games because you're just returning every turn. So every turn you return, get a monster, tribute summon on their turn, get a monster, tribute summon on your turn, and get a monster. And this plus Thestalos is like gets rid of 3 of their cards. That's the whole main deck. The extra deck is, in fact, as expected from Monarchs, completely empty because all the cards say don't have an extra deck. Side deck's pretty simple. Imagine this is 3 Magnamut because I had to give 2 back, but 3 Magnamut and some other Bysteel because we don't like losing to Puppet Lock and stuff. And I don't know, the Puppet Lock, shockingly, not the worst, or not the best against you since you don't special summon that much, and it does give you a tribute fodder, but it's still nice against matchups with Darks because it'll still be good against everything else Branded does that beats you, and it's also really good against Dark World, and that deck is really good. Like, none of the other cards are going to beat them because they hand loop you. So you need to have things to do on their turn 1. And as much as I hate playing cards that you have to draw in your opener going second, I also like not getting FTK'd or losing in my draw phase to like or like Labyrinth and stuff. Speaking of Labyrinth, back row hate. We don't like having our hand ripped by funny trap cards or floodgates and stuff like that. Floodgates are also really good against us, like Goes and Match, Tikaboo, stuff like that. Other going second cards. Dark Rulers, the third Storm Fourth, and one of this. This should probably just be the third Dark Ruler, but I don't know. There is some matchups where Dark Ruler is not as good as booking everything face down. Like, this is better against Cash, because it puts their stuff down so they don't have names on board for stuff. Although this is good better against combo decks because they can't negate it. Stormforth are going second. Called by against decks that are super hand trap heavy or play Droll, because we lose to Droll because we like to draw 17 cards a turn. So, if they're playing Droll, side it in. And then this card because, evenly matched is a card that they printed for some reason, and it's still legal for some reason. So we like not losing to evenly matched. Honestly, more than this is just for evenly. Everything else is like, whatever. That's the whole main inside. I think the changes I want to try next time is maybe play Small World and see if I can play some cards to make some good bridges so I can more consistently get to the tribute fodder off of the big tributes, because there's a lot of times where you open 2 big tributes and you don't really need 2 big tributes in hand. Like, you want one or the other most of the time, and half the time you don't even want Erebus, you just want to set up anything on their turns. So Small World can probably with some bridge become all of the tribute fodders, and I might play Foolish Burial and Eidos, because you could like Foolish Burial for Eidos and then use its grave effect to summon out Mithra without using a normal to get a Mithra out. And you can also Foolish Burial just for Erebus and then add it back if you have a bunch of spell traps in hand, and then you have like a guaranteed tribute in hand. But we'll see. I gotta test it out some more. I think the deck has some potential to be a fun locals deck. I just gotta iron out all those ratios.
All right, well, thank you, Luna, for bringing us your Monarch deck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the live duels that you got to watch before this deck profile. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to stay tuned. Later on, we'll be having some more feature matches coming your way. That's all I've got for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, this is Nate from the Script Academy, signing up for now. Peace out.